Good morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll begin. Adequate notice of this May the 23rd, 2013 meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by posting written notice and agenda of the meeting on the bulletin board in the municipal building, 1000 Route 10, Whippany, Township of Hanover, and by hand delivering, mailing, faxing such notice and agenda to the following newspapers: the Hanover Eagle, Morris County's Daily Record, and the Star Ledger, and by filing same with the Township Clerk. May I have a roll call?
Committeeman Schleifer.
Here.
Committeeman Faramasca.
Here.
Committeeman Bruno.
Here.
Committeeman Capola.
Here.
Mayor Francioli.
Here.
5 members in attendance, sir.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, would you all please join me in a pledge allegiance to the flag? Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Isn't it nice that we can still say that, under God? Yep. Okay. We have a wonderful honor tonight, and we have a proclamation recognizing the Cedar Knolls Fire Department's First Aid Squad on receiving the 2013 Distinguished Community Service Award presented by the Association for Retarded Citizens of Morris County, of that chapter, and recognition of the emergency medical care provided to its residents. I have to tell you, I had the honor, as did George, Committeeman Capola, and I, to attend the function Wednesday night. By the way, gentlemen, that was really nicely done, and there were a great many well-deserving fire companies and EMT companies, but in my humble opinion, none such deserving as our own. The ARC runs many group homes here in Hanover Township. Not all the group homes. We have 11 now, and that's phenomenal on its own. And I have to thank everybody in the community for that, and the acceptance that we have in Hanover Township is overwhelming. But the responses to these group homes in the time of need for special needs people is incredible. The department's been incredible. It's normal for you, but I'll tell you, when a person is in need and has an emergency, and the staffs have an emergency, the most welcome face they see come through a door is you. And you've been doing a phenomenal job, and we thank you as a Township Committee, as ARC thanks you. And I think Joe has a proclamation. I'd like to offer it, so Joe?
Read it into the record.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is going to be a proclamation of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover, recognizing the career and volunteer men and women of the Cedar Knolls Fire Department First Aid Squad for their professionalism and dedication, and in honor of receiving the prestigious 2013 Distinguished Community Service Award conferred by the Association for Retarded Citizens, Morris County Chapter, New Jersey. Whereas the Cedar Knolls Fire Department was organized on September 11, 1919, and subsequently in 1941, the fire department inaugurated a first aid squad for the Hanover Township community. And whereas since its formation, the Cedar Knolls Fire Department First Aid Squad has excelled in providing outstanding emergency medical services to the residents and businesses of Hanover Township. And whereas in this regard, municipalities such as Hanover Township rely on the career employees and volunteer members of the community who dedicate themselves in providing primary care and treatment as the first responders to the scene of a critically ill or injured person. And whereas in 2012 alone, the Cedar Knolls Fire Department First Aid Squad responded to well over 1,000 calls for medical assistance. And whereas the members of the First Aid Squad are well trained to handle a wide variety of medical problems facing divergent age groups, including individuals with special needs. And whereas the Association for Retarded Citizens, Morris County Chapter, New Jersey, operates 4 new group home facilities, including 1 facility which will be coming online very shortly. So we have 5 facilities in Hanover Township in providing specialized care for developmentally disabled persons through ARC. And whereas on numerous occasions, the Cedar Knolls Fire Department First Aid Squad is called upon to provide medical assistance to those individuals residing in a group home environment. And whereas on those occasions when individuals in a group home setting require first aid assistance, the first aid responders calm fears, give assurance that they are on the scene to help, and provide compassionate and prompt treatment to persons in need of aid. And whereas, in recognition of the essential emergency medical services provided by the Cedar Knolls Fire Department First Aid Squad to the resident and staff of group home facilities located in Hanover Township, the Association for Retarded Citizens, Morris County Chapter, New Jersey, has chosen the First Aid Squad to receive the ARC's 2013 Distinguished Community Service Award. And whereas upon the receipt of this prestigious award, it is the intention of the Township Committee to acknowledge and praise the outstanding services provided by the men and women of the Cedar Knolls Fire Department First Aid Squad. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover in the County of Morris and State of New Jersey as follows. 1. In recognition of receiving the 2013 Distinguished Community Services Award presented by the Association for Retarded Citizens, Morris County Chapter, New Jersey, the governing body honors and thanks the career and volunteer members of the Cedar Knolls Fire Department First Aid Squad in providing the highest standards of emergency medical care to the residents of our community, including the group home facilities operated by the ARC in Hanover Township. And 2, that this proclamation shall be recorded in the official minutes of the Township Committee and transmitted to the District 3 Hanover Township Board of Fire Commissioners. Signed, Ronald F. Francioli on behalf of the Township Committee.
Very good. Thank you, Joe. You want to join me? Bob, Chief, you guys want to come forward and accept this on behalf of the department? Why don't you bring all your officers up? Yeah. Keep by your own frame.
Absolutely.
I keep, by the way, I can't think of anything more fitting for Memorial Day weekend. This is the timing of this award is absolutely perfect. Very good. There you go, Chief. Okay. Jimmy got batteries in it this time?
The card was, no.
Yeah, I know. Terrific.
Jerry,
All right.
give this to
Thank you.
Jerry.
Nice. All right.
Well done, Chief. Thank you.
Chief?
Well done. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Well done. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Well done. Thank you.
See you tomorrow. Yeah, no rain. Okay. Keep the rain away.
You're not picking me up tonight.
Get the canal boats out pretty soon.
Very good, very nice. Okay. You guys want to make good your escape, or you want to stick around and be bored to death?
I know what they'll pick.
The Great Escape.
I was so,
You gave him an option.
I gave Jim a copy of the proclamation so he can get it right.
Gentlemen, thank
Oh,
you.
good,
As
you
always.
think that'll help? Very good.
East Hanover's First Aid Squad.
They gave me a pledge on it.
Okay.
During the day, man.
At this time, gentlemen, I'd like a motion to open to the public for any items not appearing on the agenda. Okay, moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the floor is open. Anyone who would like to address the Township Committee at this time can do so from the podium, giving us your name and address for the record. No? You know,
But we love you,
I'm
Joe.
telling you, it's,
Motion to close.
So moved.
1001. Motion to close that portion of the meeting?
Second.
Okay, all in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Mr. Administrator.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, members of the Township Committee, we have 2 items of communication. The first is one received on May 13th, addressed to me. Dear Mr. Giorgio, please be advised that I am resigning from my position of Certified Municipal Court Administrator with the Township of Hanover, East Hanover Township Shared Court. After 17 years, as of today, May 13, 2013, I am resigning my position due to physical and emotional stress that has caused me and my family. Sincerely, Elaine Vitellaro. Second letter is received on May 17th. Dear Mr. Giorgio, please accept my resignation from the Hanover Township Board of Recreation Commissioners effective May 31st, 2013. It has been my pleasure to serve the residents of Hanover Township. I wish the Township Committee and all those who serve the Township the best in their future endeavors. Sincerely, Arlene Yanata. Now, in keeping with the policy of the Township Committee, may we have a motion to accept Ms. Vitellaro's letter of retirement and resignation?
So moved.
We have a motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
And also, may we have a motion to accept the retirement resignation of Commissioner Arlene Yanata?
So moved.
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
So
I'd
approved.
also like to recognize the exemplary service which Ms. Yanata brought to our Recreation Board for the many years and her contributions. Really did a terrific job.
She sat on that board, my first commission, my first directorship 30 years ago.
Well, she got it 30
I would
years,
say
yeah.
I would say she's got a lot of time in on that board.
She did her civic duty.
Yes, absolutely.
We thank her.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have only one ordinance for consideration of public hearing and adoption this evening. It's docketed as ordinance number 16-13. It amends and supplements section 53-35 entitled Responsibilities under chapter 53 of the Code of the Township entitled Police Department, with the inclusion of a new provision clarifying the chain of command in the issuance of orders. We have the proof of publication that the ordinance and the notice of introduction appeared in full in the May 16th issue of the Daily Record. At this time, may we have a motion to convene the public hearing?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Capola.
Second.
Second by Mr. Schleifer. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Ferramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
Is there anyone in chambers wishing to be heard concerning ordinance number 16-13? Seeing none, hearing none, may we have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
So moved in unison. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Ferramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
Now, on adoption, be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover, amending and supplementing section 53-35, entitled Responsibilities, under chapter 53 of the Code of the Township, entitled Police Department, with the inclusion of a new provision clarifying the chain of command in the issuance of orders, be passed on final reading, and that a notice of the final passage of the ordinance be published in the May 30th issue of the Daily Record. May we now have a motion on adoption?
So moved.
So moved by Mr.
Second.
Capola, seconded by Mr. Bruno, and roll call for adoption. Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Ferramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So adopted, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we now continue with our agenda, consent agenda of resolutions. We have several resolutions which were discussed in conference by the Township Committee, which do not appear on your agenda. And I'm going to read the titles of those additional resolutions into the record at this time. And the additional resolutions as part of the consent agenda. Resolution of the Township Committee rejecting the lowest bidder of Fernandez and awarding a contract to the second lowest bidder, Stanzial, for the resurfacing of Warren Street. Resolution of the Township Committee rejecting the lowest bid of D.M. Fernandez and awarding the contract to the second lowest bidder, Stanzial Construction, for the resurfacing of Juniper Drive, Gristmill Road, and Cranberry Court. A resolution of the Township Committee rejecting the lowest bidder of D.M. Fernandez and awarding the contract to Stanzial Construction as the second lowest bidder for the resurfacing of Brantford Road, Fisher Place, Sherry Lane, and Lewis Street. And we'll note for the record in these three rejections, there were deficiencies in the receipt of the of the proposals which were opened in public session. And after careful consideration, it was the opinion of the township attorney that the lowest bids of DM Fernandez be rejected, and bids now awarded to Stanzial Construction. We now have a resolution of the Township Committee authorizing the probationary employment of Michael Wallace as the Township's replacement part-time electrical subcode official, electrical inspector, assistant zoning officer, property maintenance inspector in the building department, effective June 3rd, 2013, and establishing his compensation at $38 per hour under Job Group 9, Salary Guide C of Salary Ordinance 15-13. It is a conditional offer of employment subject to receiving a satisfactory medical examination, negative drug test, and negative criminal history information record check. We have a resolution of the Township Committee authorizing the employment of David C. Manners and David Peck as part-time assistant building inspectors, assistant zoning officers, and assistant property maintenance officers on a temporary, as-needed basis only at the rate of $30 per hour each under Salary Guide C, Job Group 9 of Salary Ordinance 15-13. And the final resolution is a resolution providing for the appointment of Julie Guacci and Shelby Snow to serve as full-time temporary seasonal summer personnel to be employed as clerical assistants in the Departments of Administration and Building at $14 an hour each under Job Group Classification 1, Salary Guide C, as set forth under Salary Ordinance 15-13. And that's just summer employment from June 3rd through August 30th. Are there any questions about any of the resolutions on the consent agenda?
Gentlemen? No?
Move to be approved.
We have a motion by Committeeman Capola,
Second.
second by Committeeman Faramasca on roll call. Mr. Schleifer?
Aye.
Mr. Faramasca?
Aye.
Mr. Bruno?
Aye.
Mr. Capola?
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
And also as a consent agenda, raffle application 2658, Hackettstown Community Hospital Foundation, and raffle application 2659, Dance Competition Parents Association Incorporated.
Motion to accept?
We have a motion by Committeeman
Second.
Schleifer, second by Committeeman Capola. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
That is approved. Mr. Chairman, that clears the agenda of the Business Administrator Township Clerk, and I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Joe, for that. At this time, I'm going to turn the meeting over to the committee or the comments from the members of the Township Committee.
You want to open the public again?
We'll open to the public
Okay.
after our
Yeah,
comment.
Mr. Mayor, I've got one comment.
By all means.
The redevelopment of Hanover Avenue corridor is well underway. Last Friday, we had the pleasure to participate in the groundbreaking ceremony of the anchor store of a new shopping center. It will be a world-class ShopRite. We very much look forward to it. It'll be a great addition to our community.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Recreation, just one announcement, the grand opening of Bee Meadow Pool will take place tomorrow, weather permitting.
There you go. Summer's here.
Let's keep our fingers crossed for good weather all weekend, but hopefully tomorrow in particular, so we can get the pool open and get the kids out there swimming.
Summer is here. Very good.
Summer's here.
George?
Yeah, on, just a reminder for Monday, Memorial Day, 9:30 at the Whitney Park High School, but 7 o'clock at the community center. One real quick one, Mr. Mayor. We had folks here at the last meeting from the PTA concerned with the using the schools for election purposes. Real quick on it, we met with the police chief, Chief Gallagher, Joe Giorgio, Lieutenant Roddy, Scott Pepper, and Tom Gallagher. We had a meeting and we came up with the number of alternatives. Those have been proposed and being sent over to the Board of Elections, because the county board is the one that has to approve them. In the interim, okay, because definitely there's not going to be any changes in 2013, Chief Gallagher will have a police officer stationed at every polling location at the schools only from The time the polls open 6 in the morning until they close 8 in the evening. So that's my report.
Thanks, George. Just a few things. We congratulate and we celebrate with our newest neighbor, Bayer Healthcare, their 150th anniversary. And we had something very special this week in that the Bayer folks brought in from Germany an airship, 153-foot long airship, and brought that into our Stony Brook field for our school children to see. They got a lecture about the airship itself. The airship has traveled all over Europe, and there's some beautiful pictures that we were given of it flying around the Statue of Liberty. And we've had it for a few days, although the weather hasn't been that good. Some of our neighbors got some tethered rides in it. It was really fantastic, and we want to thank Bayer, and we certainly wish them certainly all the best. At the same ARC dinner that you just heard us award our Cedar Knolls Fire Company and First Aid Squad commendation, past mayor of this township and very old friend, Sal Iannacone, received a Good Friend Award from the very same organization. Sal, you might know, goes back to the first group home we ever had in Hanover Township, which was formed on Longview Drive. And most of us that sat here at the time that that was proposed were destined for a lynching. And the gentleman's neighbors at the time were certainly upset with the idea of a group home. But I have to tell you, the greatest story I ever heard was that shortly after that group home opened, the very same, or next year, Mr. O'Brien came forward to me, who lives next door, and he said, I found the best neighbors I could ever have. I cut their lawn every Saturday, and it was absolutely fantastic to me. Since then, you just heard how many group homes ARC has. We have about 11 now, including this respite home that we're just finishing up, which will give families of developmentally disabled children an opportunity to put their child in with this home and get away for weekends or a week at a time, short terms, and it's really a wonderful thing. But we thank Sal. He stayed with it all this time. There hasn't been a group home built in this town that didn't have his hallmark on it, and I think it's just wonderful. Also want to remind everyone of some things that are going on in the township, and you see that the traffic light on Whippany Road at the Bayer driveway, I'll call it the Bayer driveway, it was a loosened driveway, is being reinstalled. And that is a requirement of the county. Steve Hammond, the chief engineer of the county, had a prerequisite of that some 6 months ago, that if we could not resolve the issue of access to that property via the intersection of Whippany Road and Parsippany Road, that the traffic light would have to be reinstalled. Let me punctuate. No taxpayer dollars at all have gone into the reinstallation of this light. It is the responsibility of Bayer. It is the responsibility of Vision Equities, who's a developer of that property, and the entire cost for that improvement and future improvements of that intersection will be borne by that entity. Not us, not you, not the taxpayers. Let that be very, very clearly understood. I want to do one final little thing, so you'll bear with me. It's called theatrics, all right? Bob, I want you to take the camera, Bob, and I want you to just pan this room for a second. Okay, just roll around the room and let some of the peoples that look at our videos know how vast the attendance is here. Okay, there you go. And the faces that you're seeing in this room are the faces that we usually see, and the interested parties that come forward to this meeting, every meeting, to listen, to hear, to question, and to understand what is. We have broad shoulders on this township committee, and we could take a lot of punches, and we usually do, and anyone that sits here or has sit here can take those punches. But it's truly unfair to be here and to have to read editorial comments, letters to the editors, etc., that take slams at the committees without having access to all facts for our community. It's unfair to the community, it's unfair to us. Come to the meetings, challenge us, ask your questions, get your facts straight, write your letters. Thank you for that, Bob. Very good. Any other comments from the committee at this time? Hearing none. Okay? Motion to open to the public for any items not appearing. Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Gentlemen, ladies, the floor is open. Anyone like to address the Township Committee at this time could do so from the podium.
You're overtime, so it doesn't matter.
Ron was trying for the fair Monster record.
I really tried to help you, but,
He
you
knew about our
know,
goal.
you can't beat Fair Mosca's record. Joe Mihalko, 12
I
Anna
love
Terrace,
you. I
Whippany
love
section
you,
of
Joe.
Hanover Township. Very seriously, a number of weeks ago, I brought up a question that I had concerning the first aid squad.
Yes.
In the interim, of course, I'm very happy to see their award tonight. But I would also like to make umbrage to my Commissioner Tom Quirk, who answered all of my questions. And I don't have a hat that I can eat, but I'll tell you, I appreciated meeting with Tom, and as he suggested, more openness in dialogue is necessary. So my issues with that have been resolved, and I'd like to thank Commissioner Quirk for that.
Joe, that is magnanimous.
Oh,
That is magnanimous. Thank you for that. And there you go.
hey,
Thank you, Joe.
Very good. Dialogue, communication always works. It's real easy to, operate in a vacuum, and we know it always works, really, truly. That was really magnanimous. By the way, it also bears saying that our Cedar Knolls First Aid Squad also has membership from our Whippany side. We're also part and parcel to that as well. So giving where credit due, we come together on this squad, work together between District 2 and 3, and I think it's fantastic. That's good. Thank you, Joe. Any other members of the community like to be heard at this time?
just, it's a beautiful sight.
Seeing, huh?
It's a beautiful sight when you need it, and I needed it once.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
it's
yeah.
beautiful driving up to your house.
It's kind of eerie when you hear that,
Embarrassing.
it's kind of eerie when you
feel
hear
kind
that
of-
siren and you know where it's going, though.
I always appreciate it.
Gentlemen,
Motion to
okay,
close.
motion to close. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion for adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you very much. Thanks, folks.
8:59 and 28 seconds.
Close.
8:59 and 28 seconds.
beat up the
Joe was right. You could've gone for it.
Almost.
You could've gone for
Not
it.
quite, but.
You could've gone.
He was protecting your record.
He's always next.
Good.